not surprised at all. It's who he is. It's who he is. I've always thought that he's a horrible person, and this is every bit of proof.
Baltimore boxing champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend.
Tank is done. Tank is hung him up, shoes off, get the bag, put a plaque up, he done.
Mayweather Promotions. November 14th, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis has officially been canceled. I know that we all speculated that it would be, and I was pretty much for sure that it would be canceled. But now
The boxing world has been shaken to its core after Leonard Ellerbe finally spoke out about Gervonta "Tank" Davis's recent arrest, an incident that has sent shockwaves throughout the sport and officially led to the cancellation of the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight. What was once hyped as one of the biggest crossover events of the decade has now been scrapped, as Tank's ongoing legal troubles once again threaten to derail his career.
So, Most Valuable Promotions, the promotion co-founded by Jake Paul and Nikisa Bedarian, posted this on social media. They posted that they were officially canceling the fight, saying Most Valuable Promotions immediately initiated an investigation. No, I had the wrong one. Okay, I'm reading this one. Most Valuable Promotions and Netflix have announced that Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, the one I was reading was the one from late last week, originally scheduled for Friday, November 14th at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida, will no longer be moving forward. Quote, "Our team has worked closely with all parties to navigate this situation responsibly," said Nikisa Bedarian, CEO of MVP. "While we will not be moving forward with this event, our plan remains for Jake Paul to headline an event on Netflix in 2025. And that is what I'm hearing as well. They want him to fight in December. That is the hope. And they're actively looking for a opponent. More on that in a moment. Details regarding a new date, location, Jake's opponent, and additional bouts will be shared as soon as they are finalized. We thank Netflix, Kaseya Center."
Ellerbe, the longtime promoter and former CEO of Mayweather Promotions and someone deeply tied to Davis's career, made a rare public statement, declaring that this situation had crossed the line. His comments were blunt. Davis's legal issues have made the fight with Jake Paul not only unlikely but impossible. Ellerbe warned that Tank's standing in the sport is now in serious jeopardy. Meanwhile, reports have surfaced that Jake Paul's camp has extended an official offer to Ryan Garcia to step in as a replacement for Davis in the November 14th main event. Sources claim that Paul's promotional company, Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, reached out to Garcia amid the fallout. The offer reportedly points to a potential December fight, but Garcia's promoter has already raised concerns about contractual conflicts that could complicate negotiations.
Today, November 2nd, this fight is still technically scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement: Ryan Garcia, Terence Crawford, Francis Ngannou, come on, we'll get into them, and Nate Diaz. So he's already fought Nate Diaz, but let's go through them one by one. I mean, Ryan Garcia, he's a similar size to Gervonta Davis. He's bigger though. Davis made him come down, didn't he? Then he beat him up. So that was Ryan Garcia. Quite a bad loss for Garcia, that was, because he was up for the fight, but Gervonta Davis beat Garcia. Garcia also isn't really big enough to be jumping in with Jake Paul, but that's a fight that potentially could happen. Garcia is a massive name. He's a big he's a social media star, he's a big public figure, loads of followers on Instagram and social. I mean, his Instagram's over 1 million, I'm sure it is.
Rolando "Rolly" Romero didn't hold back after hearing that the Paul versus Davis fight was cancelled. He slammed the entire situation, saying Jake Paul was exposed for chasing spectacle over substance, and directly challenged him, claiming he'd slap him around if they ever fought. Romero didn't stop there, he also fired shots at Ryan Garcia, accusing him of backing out of their rematch clause and calling him unreliable and scared. According to Romero, boxing fans are tired of fake hype and want fighters who show up and back up their talk in the ring.
I want to let everybody know I'm going to slap Jake Paul across his face because, first and foremost, man, I'm tired of this YouTube boxing stuff, man. I really am. I am more tired of this YouTube boxing stuff than everyone else, man. Oh, let's make this happen, bro. I'll be ready in a week. I'll be ready to slap Jake Paul across the face in a week. I will slap Jake Paul across his face. But who cares? I don't care. Roll over Jake Paul 2025, bro. I knocked out another YouTuber. I knocked out... Jake Paul gets knocked out
Oscar De La Hoya stepped in to address the swirling rumors that Ryan Garcia might replace Gervonta Davis. De La Hoya dismissed the reports, saying no such talks ever took place. He made it clear that if any real negotiations were underway, he would personally make the announcement. De La Hoya reaffirmed that Garcia has other plans, telling fans not to fall for unverified rumors. His statement effectively shut down the speculation and reminded everyone that not every online leak deserves attention.
Garcia, let me just tell you why this fight is not going to happen. Ryan Garcia fights for DAZN, and Jake Paul fights on Netflix. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. Golden Boy has a contract with DAZN. Ryan Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy. And that's just the way it is. I mean, this is business. You know, Ryan Garcia's probably going to rant saying, oh, you're keeping me from making money and this and that and fighting. No, you have to go by the law, by the rules. You have a contract with DAZN. You have a contract with Golden Boy. It just doesn't happen that way. So anyway, until next time, we'll see you Saturday for Virgil Ortiz. But again, Ryan Garcia's next fight.
Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, officially confirmed that fans who purchased tickets for the now-cancelled Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight through authorized platforms like Ticketmaster will receive automatic refunds within 14 to 21 days. Those who bought through secondary resale sites will need to contact vendors directly for reimbursement. MVP's statement also acknowledged how disappointing the cancellation is for fans and added that they are actively working to secure a new opponent for Jake Paul. According to insiders, Francis Ngannou has emerged as the top candidate to replace Tank Davis in what could become one of the most explosive crossover bouts in modern boxing.
Globally on DAZN. First off, I'll say kudos to MVP for refunding people that did buy tickets to this event and also navigating this thing with professionalism, which they did the entire way through. You got to give them credit for that. They really stayed quiet on the rumor front and just handled things as a professional company. That's all you can really ask for. Jake Paul has, in the last couple of hours, tweeted idiot, and then God has a plan always. Two things that I think are both referring to this fight. First off, calling Gervonta Davis an idiot, I assume, and then obviously, you know, God has a plan always, referring to this thing is probably going to work itself out. Obviously, this video is dedicated to talking about future opponents for Jake and potential fight dates. I do have something that I don't know if it's misinformation or not, but I'm just going to talk about it here. This is a tweet from somebody named ATalkers5. I don't know how realistic this potentially even could be, but this is from 4 hours ago. They said two of the female bouts scheduled for Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis under
Francis Ngannou, who stunned the world with his performances against Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, remains one of boxing's biggest global attractions. Jake Paul's team reportedly believes Ngannou's knockout power and star appeal could save the event. However, Ngannou quickly shut down the rumors. He stated that he would never accept a fight that feels like a publicity stunt, adding that after facing elite boxers like Fury and Joshua, fighting a YouTuber-turned-boxer would be a step backward. Ngannou's comments were direct. He urged fighters to respect the sport and not turn boxing into a show for clicks. His refusal earned praise from fans who respected his honesty and professionalism.
Yeah, Jake Paul, you know, he's fighting. I'm like, no, bro, come on. Don't disrespect me like that. And then, they even say like, they even come out after and say, and what if the number are good? He send out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started up. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. It make no sense for me. It's not my, what I'm looking at right now.
So there is no dollar amount. It's more the opponent. The fight makes no sense. They could offer you $100 million and you wouldn't be interested.
The fight made no sense. That's what I think. That's my my position. And though I went back, I still, you know.
Placement for Gervonta Davis. We had to go right to the source. What can you tell us? Is there any possibility that Francis Ngannou will step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul?
No, there's no such of thing happening. Basically, like how can they go from like Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? Like, I mean, Gervonta Davis is a fantastic boxer, but and he's a one-shot knockout artist. But come on, like the way different and everything, it make no sense. You know, the Gervonta Davis, you count, you say, okay, the size different can level up. But at this point, for me,
Fresh reports now suggest Jake Paul may turn his attention toward Floyd Mayweather Jr. as a possible replacement opponent. Sources indicate Paul's camp reached out to Mayweather to explore the idea of a high-profile matchup, but Floyd reportedly dismissed it as too easy and not worth the time.
A possible replacement for Paul being Garcia. I've seen another article that said that they pitched to Mayweather. I've seen that one and some other big names as well. And I'm pretty sure the people behind Paul got the bag because Paul draws the bag. So they can probably, if Floyd Mayweather commit to it, yeah, you get that money together because you know it's coming back in sales. You know it is. How old is Mayweather right now? It don't fucking matter. That bread is coming back. He's just a draw. The biggest, maybe, right? He might literally be the biggest boxing draw of all time. Floyd Mayweather. So I think that if this is true, that the fight is canceled.
On the Ariel Helwani show, analysts broke down the fallout from Gervonta Davis's mounting legal troubles. They discussed how the latest lawsuit, filed just 2 months after a previous case, paints a worrying picture and has seriously damaged his public image. Helwani's panel noted that major sponsors and networks have begun distancing themselves, and that Netflix, which had planned to stream the Paul vs. Davis fight as its first ever live boxing event, is reconsidering its involvement. With Davis's reputation crumbling, Jake Paul now faces immense pressure to find a new opponent fast or risk losing the entire show.
Paul and Nikisa Badarian posted this on social media. They posted that they were officially canceling the fight, saying Most Valuable Promotions immediately initiated an investigation. No, I had the wrong one. Okay, I'm reading this one. Most Valuable Promotions and Netflix have announced that Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, the one I was reading was the one from late last week, originally scheduled for Friday, November 14th at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida, will no longer be moving forward. Quote, our team has worked closely with all parties to navigate this situation responsibly, said Nikisa Badarian, CEO of MVP. While we will not be moving forward with this event, our plan remains for Jake Paul to headline an event on Netflix in 2025. And that is what I'm hearing as well. They want him to fight in December. That is the hope. And they're actively looking for a opponent. More on that in a moment. Details regarding a new date, location, Jake's opponent, and additional bouts will be shared as soon as they are finalized. We thank Netflix, Kaseya Center, Seminole Hard Rock and Hotel and Casino for their partnership. Then there's some information about, fans who purchase tickets. You can see all of this online. I did speak to Nikisa briefly, and I've seen some people say like, hey, and this was his take. Like, I asked him 2 questions basically, like, did this have anything to do with the ticket sales? He said this was going to be a very, very successful event for them financially. And the other thing was like, Tank Davis has a checkered past. He had a checkered past when this fight was made. What changed? Well, obviously 2 incidents, allegations, lawsuit. Since the fight was announced, they at the time felt like this was an opportunity for people to learn about who Tank Davis is, for him to show the world that he was a changed man, all this stuff and more. And, that didn't happen. And they felt like they had to cancel the event. For the record, I feel like this was 100% the right call. You can't be a promotion that is so heavily invested in women's boxing and work with a guy who has allegations and lawsuits pending.
There's growing talk that the now vacated November 14th card might be restructured around women's boxing. Early promotional materials already featured title bouts like Alicia Baumgardner versus Layla Badwan for the Super Featherweight Championship. Analysts believe this pivot could be a smart move to keep the event alive, but they also called out Jake Paul's hypocrisy in publicly criticizing Gervonta Davis's legal troubles. They reminded fans that Davis's case is civil, not criminal, and pointed out that Jake himself has faced past misconduct accusations, making his moral stance questionable. Some commentators accused him of exploiting the situation for PR rather than taking a genuine ethical position.
And we forgave him for that, and you got better, you seek help, and etc. I forgive him for it.
Bruh.
How you know Jake Paul didn't know that?
Jake Paul knew.
Jake Paul 100% knew that.
September 19th, 2017, arrest warrant first-degree assault. September 14th, 2018, arrested in Washington, D.C. February 1st, 2020, Davis arrested on domestic assault. March 22nd, 2021, indicted on 14 counts allegedly causing a serious crash. December 27th, 2022, days before a fight, arrested and jailed in Florida, domestic battery. July 11th, 25, taken into custody following a battery charge. October 31st, 25, Davis was involved in a civil fight with his girlfriend. Shut up, Jake Paul. You knew what you was doing.
He does not get this excuse whatsoever. Also, whenever you look at what Jake Paul has done since coming into the sport of boxing, he has been a champion for women in the sport. He has also been a champion of equal fighter pay and whatnot, right? And all of these different things that he's done. He's gone to Dana White directly for trying to abolish the Muhammad Ali Act that helps out fighters get. He's gone to so many different people. He's an extremely knowledgeable person whenever it comes to the sport that he's hyper obsessed with, and turned his career from a Disney star and a YouTuber into a boxer. He knew about these issues already. Correct. He knew that this was a farcical fight in the first place. Yeah. This is a 7-weight class difference in real boxing. No, absolutely not. It should not have been a fight that was happening in the first place. But even then, after all of these things going on right now, Jake Paul to sit there and act as if you are all high and mighty, Correct. And that I don't want to give this dude a platform to earn money. You were more than happy doing it. And
Gervonta Davis's arrest has not only shattered one of the most anticipated crossover fights in recent memory, but it's also exposed how fragile hype-driven boxing events can be. With Netflix, promoters, and sponsors scrambling to recover, the Paul vs. Davis cancellation shows just how fast momentum can vanish in this sport. For Jake Paul, the show must go on, but for Gervonta Davis, this arrest could mark the biggest downfall of his once promising career.
It's an impossible spot to be in.
The only part I'd say is, you kind of know who this guy is ahead of time. This is not exactly a shocking revelation like Tank Davis is. This is not the first rodeo. But I do think it's too close to the fight to really be, messing around here. You got to figure out a new solution.
And so there's been multiple reports regarding people that they've reached out to. Names like Ryan Garcia have been brought up, Terrence Crawford has been brought up, Francis Ngannou has been brought up. And Francis Ngannou spoke to TMZ today, and he did confirm that he was contacted. And the quote was, "How can they go from Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? It makes no sense." He was like, quote, "We think about you to fight Jake." I'm like, what?
What do you think about all this? Was Jake Paul justified in pulling out after Gervonta Davis's arrest, or is this just another strategic PR move to save face? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.